against any of them? Heck yes.
Oh, are you kidding me? You would have been 20. I had to beat off the phony Mueller report. I had to beat off all this stuff. I had to beat off impeachment. I had to beat off Congress, everything else. They then send it to New York, which is all political. They send it into the same stuff into New York. You have to beat that off. You know, they got New York all over. They don't stop. This is a disgrace. If that just came out, and you know, I purposely tried to stay away from it because they all say it would be better if I'm not involved.
Well, have you declassified everything about this yet?
I fully declassified everything. Everything's been declassified. They have so much information. They didn't need any more than, frankly, Mr. Horowitz, who was an Obama appointment, he wrote a report on Comey that was so bad. It was so bad. I've never seen anything like it. And they should have gone after him just on that. And McCabe, too. You know, took $700,000 from Hillary Clinton.
I don't know how these people are still on cable TV lying through their teeth about all of this. Still getting paid to carry forth the lie.
If that's the case, and you have to understand, I'm hearing this for the first time. And I said, it's impossible. So it's okay for me to have to go through investigations during an election. But for them, we don't want to upset the apple cart.
It wasn't an investigation. It was a hunt.
Republicans don't play the same game.
You didn't do anything. There was never any evidence. This was not an investigation. It was a hunt. You were being hunted. They were trying to plant and create evidence that would be believed, and they failed.
We caught them. We caught them cold. And we have people that don't know how to do anything about it. It's horrible. If that's the case, I have to check that. I find it hard to believe. Because you know what? I went through 2 elections. You don't think that affected 18? I wasn't running in 18. But the whole Russia witch hunt affected the 18 outcome of the election. You know, we lost some congressional seats. People don't say we picked up two Senate seats. But we lost something in 18. You know, we lost something. We lost some seats that we probably could have held on to. We went through the same thing, and it was all phony stuff. Nobody said, let's hold it back until after the election. But the Republicans don't play the same game. They don't play the same game. I'd be surprised, and I'd be very disappointed. I'll probably be disappointed, because this stuff should have come out a year ago anyway.
Did you expect it to?
They had everything they needed a year ago.
Did you expect it to come out by now?
I thought it should have come out 2 years ago. I mean, frankly, as far as I was concerned. Look, if they hold it because of the election, I've gone through 2 elections now.
Well, that's what he says. They're holding it.
They started investigating me before I even won the election.
It says
they started investigating me when I was coming down the escalator, the beautiful golden escalator, as it goes, with the First Lady. I was under investigation illegally by these thieves and Comey and crooks. We caught them in the act. They were spying in my campaign, and then they went for a coup. Nobody said, well, gee, let's hold off the investigation. But with them, they do. The Republicans don't play it the same way. It's very disappointing.
No, it was frustrating. For the first 6 months of your first term, half the Republicans in the House thought it was true, and that's why they didn't help you move your agenda. But it says right here, this is Axios, by the way, is the news source, and they say that Barr is communicating that his investigator, Durham, is taking his investigation very seriously and is focused on winning prosecutions, which I guess we're to expect not scoring points in the media.
Let's let everybody get elected to office, and then let's worry about it. First of all, if we don't win this election, that whole thing is going to end, okay? And you just remember that.
As will
election. That's another thing I'm fighting for, because these people have to be brought to justice, but they should have been brought to justice before the election. But if we don't win this election, if we don't win, that whole thing is going to be dismissed.
That's another thing. People want to know what they can do, sir. You would not believe the numbers of people who are asking, what can they do besides vote? And voting is big. I mean, I tell people that ask me this, that's the first thing. Just make sure you vote, show up and vote on election day, but vote. It's not insignificant. What else can people do? Because they want to help you. They want to know what they can do.
Keep up the genius, because they're genius. They get it better than these guys that are looking at stuff. I'm telling you, they get it better. The American public gets this better than the so-called people that are looking. You know, when I look at the Times and I look at the Washington Post, fake papers, both of them, and they get Pulitzer Prizes for the Russia investigation, but they were all wrong. There was no collusion. So they get Pulitzer Prizes.
Wasn't a true word in any of those stories.
No, none of it. And the guys that did get it right, they don't get Pulitzer Prizes, you know. And you and I can name 10 of them, okay? You're one of them, but you don't care about Pulitzer Prizes. But the ones that got it, they don't get anything. But just, Rush, take a look at how wrong these people were. And they pretend they know me. You know, Maggie Haberman, all of these people, they know. I have nothing against them. But they don't know me. They don't know me. I haven't seen her. I haven't spoken to her in a year and a half. You know, you take one picture with somebody, it ends up being like the best friends for the rest of your life. You know, take a picture at the Oval Office with a photographer, with a reporter. And then they write, though, as though you're like you can't live without them. I don't even speak to these people. But look at the bad reporting that they've done. Look how wrong they were about everything. They got Pulitzer Prizes for the Pulitzer organization. Frankly, is a disgrace. They gave Pulitzer Prizes to everybody that shouldn't have gotten them.
Yep.
You know, they were all wrong.
Folks, let me just...
People that should get the Pulitzer Prizes didn't get them.
I want to back the president up on this, folks. In this story that we're talking about here, the Russian collusion meddling story, do not doubt me, there wasn't a word of truth in any of the stories that were published oftentimes 4 times a day for the first year. There was no truth. When Robert Mueller was handled the file on the day he became the special counsel, it was empty. There was never any evidence. This was not an investigation. There was nothing to investigate. It was a hunt. It was an outrage, and to be awarded a Pulitzer Prize for printing not a single thing that is true is genuinely discrediting to Pulitzer. And you would think these people would care about that, but they don't. Sir, all that matters is getting rid of you. That's all that matters.
You would think they'd want to take back the prizes on the basis that they made a mistake. I mean, you would think the committee would meet and say, I'm sorry, but you got it wrong. We're going to have to, remand. We're going to have to take back the prizes. But Rush, think of it. They was totally wrong, and they all got Pulitzer Prizes. And then they go into another story. It's the same stuff. It's so disgraceful when you look at what's gone on. It's so dishonest. And they knew it. And Mueller was a fraud. The whole thing was a fraud.
The thug.
And they were just thugs. And I'll tell you something. A friend of mine said, a friend of mine who's a very smart, very successful guy, lawyer, said, you must be the most honest guy in the world. You've gone through 3.5 years of investigations. They found nothing. And they've gone through my taxes. They've gone through everything. Hey, they spent $48 million, I think the last number I heard was $48 million investigating me. They've gone through my taxes. They've gone through everything you can imagine at a level that nobody can even believe. Nobody's ever had to put up, and no other president should have to put up with this. But then I hear that they're not going to do the thing before the election. Why? Because they're afraid they're going to influence the election. Because that's the way the Republicans are. They play so nice all the time.
Yeah,
that would be very disappointing. If Bill Barr actually made that statement, I would be very disappointed in him. I don't know that he made that statement. But if he did do that...
that's a good point. I mean, it is the drive-by media. It's Axios. And the story is that Barr is telling leading Republicans. It's not that he's made it public. It's that he's...
Well, they've had plenty of time to do it. They've been looking at it for 2 years. The facts are on the table. All you have to do is take a look at the Horowitz report on Mueller. Even the New York Times on Mueller and on especially what they wrote about this idiot Comey, the world's worst FBI director. But
why do you think
he's a very dishonest guy?
Do you think the American people? Do you think the American people are not aware of this? Do you think they don't know the?
They're totally aware. No, they're totally aware. Even the other side's aware of it. The other side laughs about it. They can't believe they got away with it. You want to know the truth? They're not stupid. They're very smart. The other side laughs about it. It's not like they believe the Russia thing. They don't believe.
I know, but if they
laugh about it,
if they think they got away with it, then I'm leading up to the American people should be, if they know what happened, so outraged, no way they would vote Democrat. This is outrageous. This is antithetical to everything this country stands for. What happened to you?
They tried to do a takedown of a very legitimately, in fact, beyond, because I was fighting, little did I know, because I didn't know when they started this investigation, which was long before the race. After I won, they tried to take me out. Before I won, they tried to, it was a fraud. It was the Russian witch hunt.
Well, they were trying to corrupt your transition.
Hey, Rush, you know this better than anybody. And Putin, I guarantee you, says this to everybody. Nobody has been tougher on Russia than I have. I got NATO to pay $410 billion more to protect against Russia. I was the one that exposed Nord Stream, the pipeline going into Germany. I said, wait a minute, you're paying Russia billions of dollars, and we're supposed to protect you from Russia. What kind of a deal is this? I was the one that gave tank busters to Ukraine, and Obama gave him pillows. Remember the pillows, probably from the Pillow Man on Fox. But Obama gave him pillows and sheets.
Right.
And I gave them tank busters. I gave them money. Obama did. Nobody has been tougher on Russia than I have. Nobody.
Well, you know, Mr. President, I think something the American people need to know is that the Democrats and the media, which is again one and the same, have done more with 4 years of lies and misrepresentation, utter outright lies about you supposedly stealing the election from Hillary with the Russians. They have done more, sir. This is important. They have done more to corrupt the integrity and the honor of the presidential election system than Vladimir Putin could have ever hoped to. They have made people doubt. And they're now talking about how this upcoming election, the Russians are in the process of stealing it too. These people are so dishonorable and disreputable, and they need to be held accountable for what they have done to the perception of honesty and integrity in our elections, to the very serious effort they are making to transform this country into something it was never founded to be. But this business of trying to say that you stole the election, that you meddled with the Russians. They did. Hillary did. Hillary came up with this whole scheme in order to protect her from her email scandal. This is something they did, and now they're running around and they're doing more damage to the integrity, the perceived honesty of our electoral system than anything Vladimir Putin could have ever hoped.
She deleted 33,000 emails. She should be in jail for that. I don't even care if they're very highly confidential emails. I don't care what. She deleted. She got a question. She got a statement from Congress, a subpoena from Congress. Everybody, we want your emails, all of Hillary Clinton's emails, 33,000 of them. She deleted them, she acid washed them, and she broke her telephones with a hammer. Okay? Broke them with a hammer. And by the way, speaking of that, and speaking of Bill Barr, 31 people deleted their telephone messages from the Mueller report. Okay? And they said they all made a mistake. Well, they made the same mistake. The chances are 1 billion to 1 that they would have made the same mistake. 31 phones were wiped clean on the Mueller report. I want to see those phones, right? And how do you allow 31 phones? I think it was 19 people, 31 phones. You read about it just recently. They want the phones because they want the information of the phones, because we caught them cheating. And they were all wiped clean, or most of them were wiped clean. We have a couple, believe it or not. But they were wiped clean. They were deleted. Everything was deleted and cleansed. And you're not allowed to do that. They broke the law. Nothing happens to these people.
No.
But they go after General Flynn. They go after Papadopoulos. They go after all these people. It is a disgrace. And one of the reasons I want to win so badly is we got to finish this thing off. And I will be very disappointed if that Axios piece that you read to me is true. I'll be very disappointed, because they've had plenty of time to get this done. Plenty of time.
Absolutely. Well, sir, why do you think Vice President Biden agreed to go on with the town hall debate number 2? If you can prove you're virus-free on October 15th, and then he retracted the demand, now agrees with the commission to Zoom the debate, wants a virtual debate, and if he doesn't show up, are you going to show up anyway? What are they trying to pull off here?
I don't think the debates mean that much, because, and I'll tell you what, I've done well with debates. I've won, I guess I had 15. I think I won every single poll. I won the poll on this one with him. But I had to be rude because he was lying. He'd get up and he'd just say a series of things. They were all lies, so I'd say false, and they'd say I interrupted him. But you know, if you look at the polls, most polls say I won it with him. But it was a very interesting thing. I'd rather let him speak, because he's gone, he's mentally gone, and eventually he goes off track and he'll start talking about the birds and the bees. But I couldn't do that because he was saying so many false things. He'd say about the soldiers. He'd say about Social Security, which I'll protect and he won't protect, by the way. He's not going to protect. He doesn't even know what it is. He'll say about Social Security. He'll say about... And if I didn't say wrong, et cetera, et cetera, but the one who protected him was Chris Wallace. And by the way, Fox is a whole different ballgame. Fox is a much different thing than it was 4 years ago. Somebody said, what's the biggest difference? I said, the biggest difference is Fox. You take a look at Fox. Of course, we have our great ones, Sean, and this, but, and a number of them. But you watch this Fox is a whole different ballgame. And, Paul Ryan is on the board of Fox, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. But Fox is a whole different ballgame. Somebody said to me, what's the biggest difference? I said, the biggest difference is Fox is no longer the same.
Well,
big difference.
The obstacles that keep being placed in front of you are no doubt there. And I've never seen, I've told you this before, I talk about it on this program, I've never seen anything like this before. The things that you have to overcome and surmount each and every day would drive most people out of the business. They drive most
people. Well, it's why I can talk to you.
And I don't know, again, I'm asking you, didn't need any of this, sir.
It's bigger. But why I can talk to you, Rush, the great Rush, and you are the great one, and I'm honored to know you. But I can talk to you, and I can spell out all of the dishonesty and everything else, and millions of people are listening right now. I hope you have your all-time biggest audience.
Millions and millions and millions. You would not believe how many millions.
No, but I can talk to you. Now, let's say I say, no, I don't want to do it, or I want to be shy, I don't want to talk, that, too many people, let's not talk. No, you have such an incredible audience, so I can tell them about Fox being a big obstacle. It's a problem. Fox is a problem. When Roger Ailes ran Fox, Roger had a very strong point of view. It's totally gone, and I think it's influenced by Paul Ryan. He's on the board. I can't believe it. Here's a guy who failed as Speaker. Do you know that Nancy Pelosi issues a subpoena like it's cookies, right? Everything you do. Did you make a phone call 12 years ago? Oh, issue a subpoena. You couldn't get a subpoena at a poll when we have great guys. We have Jim Jordan and these guys. They're so fantastic.
They're doing great jobs. But how do you do? You have no choice. You have to deal with it. So I said Fox is different than they were 4 years ago, but you still have to deal with it.
I deal with them, but they've gone a very different path. It's a much different group. They have guys on there that are so bad. They have people, I call them the twins. There's Chris Hahn and
they just hired a bunch of Democrats.
So bad. No, he works for Schumer. They're Schumer people.
Yeah.
How about when they hired Donna Brazile, who gave Hillary the questions to the debate? Okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Who got fired? By the way, Donna Brazile got fired from CNN, and then Fox hires her. Got no credibility. It's not like she's great entertainment. It's not even good entertainment.
I know this unfairness never ends. It never ends. It's our way of life. It's something we have to deal with, and it's mad.
Well, when they do that, when they put somebody like a Donna Brazile, not that she's effective. She's not effective.
No, but you are. See, you are. That's the difference. That's the difference. You are. You are the one. You think they're driving you crazy. You have no idea what you're doing to them. You're driving them insane, sir. They can't touch you.
Fox should grab it, and they should say, hey, we got the president, and we're going to defend our president. But they're not. They're going the way of CNN, and they're going the way of MSDNC, and it's a shame. It's a shame. When I see it, I watch it. I look at the people they hire. I could tell you some of the anchors. They're so bad. They're so bad. And at the same time, Fox and Friends is terrific in the morning. They're good.
Well, you are a TV expert. There's no question.
Well, I have to be. I have no choice, because otherwise you couldn't survive it. Sean is great, and Tucker's pretty good. Tucker has his moments, in all fairness, but Tucker's pretty good. And Laura's been great, and we have a lot of good stuff. But Fox is 50% of what they were. I would say less than 50, but 50% of what they were. That's still better than nothing. At some point, maybe they'll go all the way, and that will be fine, too. I'll figure that out.
By the way, speaking of your effectiveness, I don't know if you've seen this, but the NBA has decided, NBA commissioner, they're going to pull
Yep.
their Black Lives Matter messaging next year. No longer going to be on the uniforms, no longer going to be on the basketball court. They're no longer going to... And I wonder why that is, Mr. President.
Because their ratings have died.
Oh,
Nobody
I wouldn't have
watches
known.
it. I haven't watched a basketball game, and I helped them get open. I haven't watched a basketball game.
You tried to help them. You tried to help the NFL.
I tried to help the NFL, and then Roger, nice guy, Goodell, in his basement wearing a very tight blue T-shirt, and he's not meant for it, nor am I, nor are you. It's just one of those things, at a certain age you put on a tie, right? But what happens is he brought it up again. I said to him, I thought I taught you a lesson 2 years ago about standing for the flag. Their ratings went down the tubes. And now you look at everybody with their hands in the air, and they're kneeling, and I just don't have the same interest, and neither do a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Right? The NBA has become so political that nobody cares about it anymore.
It's not why people watch it.
I don't know if anybody I don't even know who's playing in the finals. I don't know anybody that's watching the NBA. LeBron has been a spokesman. I don't know him. I never met him. All I know is when he endorsed Hillary, I said, that's the greatest endorsement I've ever seen, because when he endorsed Hillary 4 years ago, she came up to his knee. I said, that is not the best-looking president I've ever seen, okay? I thought that was the greatest. It was standing.
You mean standing she came up to his knee?
They were standing. No, she was up to about his knee. I mean, literally, I've never seen anything. And I said, that's not good. But LeBron is a spokesman for the the Democratic Party. It's a very nasty spokesman, because again,
they are angry.
So much for the black community, and people don't want to see that. And he's a great basketball player, but people don't want to see a guy that's that way. They don't want to see that. We have enough difficulty during the week. You don't want to sit down, watch a basketball game, and then watch somebody that hates your guts, okay? And he's a hater. So I look at it, and I look at the